Welcome, everybody, to this episode. I can't wait to share this conversation that I'm having with you today with my good friend, Vincent Baugh. Vincent Baugh is another American in Norway. He is the vice chair and spokesperson for Republicans Abroad Norway. Check out this conversation. I think you'll learn a few things about me, a few things about Vincent, and a few things about dialogue in general. Check it out. This is the Coming Home Podcast with John Allen.
You surprised me the other day with the bit on youth crime here. I was really pleased to see that because I don't see that from Americans for the most part to be that involved in what happens here.
Well, and I'm involved because my children are here.
Very good.
Do you know what I mean? And you'll see. You'll see part two, because the first was me just analyzing the Norwegians, analyzing it.
Right.
Now they've come out and they've had that discussion where some movers and shakers have actually come with potential solutions.
I saw the debates.
Yeah.
And then I saw Sylvia Listog the next day with the one guy from Hoyder, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that there was a politisk quartet. Yes. I saw that, as a matter of fact.
So I'm coming with my response to their solutions, plus my little twist on what I think are some better solutions, because I think, I'm not saying that they're messing up, but I'm saying it would do them good to, and it doesn't have to be me, it can be anybody from a law enforcement background in another country, a legal background in another country, or a person who has had their feet on the ground with social work from another country. Primarily that other country being the United States, because we have dealt with these things. We are dealing with these things, to a degree that they can't even imagine here. So if they would pull somebody like that in, at least as a temporary consultant or debate participant, I think it would open some eyes. I think there would be a quicker path to a solution.
Personally,
so that's where I'm coming from.
I think you're right, but what they really need to do is that the Norwegian usual way of approaching the subject won't work. Mostly because this is a fear response. If it wasn't a fear response from them for what was going on in Sweden, then they would be more clear in what they want to do.
And that's the thing. I think I'm kind of coming ahead of time about what I'm going to actually talk about. Well, it depends on when I release these episodes, but where I was coming from was exactly that angle. They are pulling their hair out and biting their nails, and they're spending so much time doing that, and they're spending this much time on actual feet on the ground solutions.
Doing anything about it, actually.
And I hate to say it, but that's typical Norwegian. They do that with a lot of their social issues.
That was my comment, right? This is their usual way of handling things, is to really dance around the question and then kind of come up with something that's somewhere near the solution without actually hitting the problem.
Well, I think a lot of politicians and some people in public service do enough of their job to where people say, okay, yeah, they're trying. And then they kind of just back off because nobody really wants to stick their neck out and make a meaningful decision because they're afraid of that failure, which is going to blacklist their name politically or socially.
Well,
am I wrong?
When okay, John Bowler.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, you like him, especially after he cut his hair. But he got into proselytizing on the air, and he kind of killed his own message because he was close to the problem. He was somewhere around it. He was getting close, and then he went out. I don't know if he was trying to please the people because it became clear that he had a problem with our body part here at the time, and that somehow or another he lost focus. I didn't understand that. When they put him on the debate show, he basically had nothing to say.
Right.
I mean, and there was this why did he waste his time?
But see, I'm still trying to figure out Norwegian politicians. On the American side of things, I understand that politicians, there's a lot of money involved. You see it when people go from being a low middle class to being a millionaire. just because they're a politician. So there's a lot of money involved, and I understand that money clouds their decision making. I'm not saying that they're blind to their decisions. I'm saying that they're not necessarily making the decisions that are best for their constituents. They're making decisions that will line their pockets.
Actually,
so that's the motivation of a lot of politicians in America, wouldn't you say? But there's a different motivation here in Norway because there's not that much money involved, and yet these Norwegian politicians still keep messing up.
Close, because actually it's more position and power that they're playing, because they're all playing from the same pot of money. So that's not where their focus is. Their focus is trying to get position on the other guy, and sometimes even in their own people, because they're just trying to.
You're talking about inter-party politics.
You see what's it doing to our bipartier now?
Right.
What did it do to Oslo FRP?
I was just going to say, what did it do to FRP, especially in Oslo? Yeah, absolutely.
It tore them apart.
Yeah.
Because they were trying to be cute. And the only one that made anything out of it is the chick that's sitting in Stortinget now. She came out of Oslo. But she was the only one that when the head party came in, she was the only one that got out alive.
Let me ask you this. You live in Oslo, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay. How much do these political decisions affect you? You're a regular citizen, you're living there in Oslo.
That's right.
Do you really see and feel these local political decisions? You know, when it goes over from a right-leaning political rule to a left-leaning, do you feel that?
Now, we have this discussion in my little pub group. We do this all the time.
Yeah.
And I can tell you.
It's a good discussion to have.
Yeah, well, it's
a lot of nuance.
Pretty basic.
Mm-hmm.
And it's pretty grassroots. And we have this position, especially, let's go with Raymond Johansen and MDG. Those were some...
Let's say Miljø De Grønne, that's the Green Party here in Norway, for those of you who are not Norwegian. I just want to clarify for that.
Because I was MDG in my time.
Were you really? No.
Yes, I was.
Wait a minute. You, Vincent?
Yes.
Wow.
Mr. Trump. Yes, I was MDG at one time. Yes, I was.
Okay. Pleasant surprise.
No, I actually took quote unquote political training through the MDG. Actually.
Did you really?
Yeah.
That's very interesting.
What's your face? Lon was actually, believe it or not, was quote unquote a hero of mine.
Really?
Because she was so passionate about what she did.
See, if you don't reveal anything else through this conversation, I'll be so satisfied with just that. I'm very surprised. I didn't know that about you.
Why would you be surprised about that?
Well, I'm not like flabbergasted. I'm not like, but I am surprised given the political leanings that you espouse, that you reveal on social media. But this also is tied into what I've been saying for ages. This is why I wanted to have you in. I've said this so many times on my program. Social media is the worst way to communicate social issues or politics. It's great if you want to be funny. It's great if you want to build an audience. It's great if you want to make money. But to portray one's political or social thoughts, I think social media is horrible because it's just a little clip, and nobody has little clips. Everyone has nuance in their opinions. Here's the nuance in you, MDG. I never would have thought that.
Not only was I MDG, one of my board positions was for Free Willy Head Central in Frogner. Okay. I was there for 5-6. I was there until COVID.
Really?
Actually, yes, I was Bidels Udvalg. Actually, from MDG.
That's like a city councilman type of thing to compare to America.
Yeah.
Just clarifying for the people.
Yeah, no problem. I was Bidelssteder for 3 years.
So
yes.
he was like a councilman for an actual neighborhood in Oslo.
Frogner.
Interesting. Yeah.
Not just any Frogner.
Yeah. Not just any. Okay. Yeah.
Frogner.
So you have this desire to take part in the ebb and flow of political and social issues. And that's to be admired regardless of what one thinks of, which angle a person takes it from. That desire to be active in those things is to be admired because there's not enough people doing it.
It's not enough of us doing it. That's for damn sure.
When you say us,
yes.
Tell the people, who's us?
I mean Americans and of course Americans that look like me and you.
Yeah. I think that a lot of people laugh at me or they roll their eyes or they say I'm trying to stir up trouble. But I will always say that the biggest hole, the biggest missing element in national news, whether it's TV, newspaper, radio, is black faces.
You got that right.
Especially black men. Because here in Norway, when I say black faces, people will throw in like Pakistanis, they'll throw in, Southern
The
Europeans.
cultural minister, let's go with that.
For example, good example right there. But I'm talking about black as in of African descent.
That's right.
Whether it's black American or straight up from Africa. Where are those men? No. We're here. Hello, two of us. We aren't the only two. But where are more of us in that picture?
I'll tell you. Okay, his name is Akhenaten de Leon, and he was okay.
Yes.
Now
I've tried to get him and his
daughter,
his daughter on my show. It just hasn't worked with scheduling. I'm very interested in both of them.
Yeah, me and I could go back quite some time. Back to Obiora, way back when. Now Obiora, that's when the guy in Trondheim got beat to death by the police.
Of course, yeah.
I did a whole bunch of stuff with them at the time when I was a producer for this, what do you call it? Not alternative, but minority. I used to be a freelancer for the minority video company.
Okay.
And I made a bunch of videos in support of what happened in the Obiora. I did a lot of the translations for what was in the newspaper.
That's interesting work. Yeah.
It was interesting work. It was the problem is, of course, most anything that's minority only has a very limited time.
So you actually know him and you actually got to work with him. That guy has fascinated me almost since I've been here since 2002, and that guy has fascinated me ever since I came here.
Now, see, the thing is that Aki wasn't the only one. As a matter of fact, I was actually getting at Elvis. Now, Elvis was Nigerian, if I'm not mistaken. He was actually a big deal in AP.
Nigeria or Ghana? Or
I think.
I don't want to insult the brother. Okay, maybe you're right. Yeah.
I think it was Nigeria.
Okay.
But Elvis, I used to know Elvis. As a matter of fact, I was, quote unquote, on the line with Elvis when we got smeared by Aftenposten. Black
smeared?
People, sub-Saharan Africans were smeared at one point in time.
Well, yeah.
All right. And I was there.
Still?
I was still. And I was
But
there.
are you talking about a specific article that Aftenposten did? Or what did they say? And when was this, roughly?
Ooh, this is around the time. This is 08, 06, something like that. When they were really bad. When the press was, when it was some brothers mixing it up somewhere, there would be our new linsmen, our new landsmen,
our newcomers to this country.
Yeah, and something even more insidious of Afrikaans opprinnelse.
African descent.
Yes. So they were, they could be quite pointed when they did this. And then they had come up with the AIDS thing, and this was the smear. It was that sub-Saharan Africans were known to infect white women, something along those lines.
You know what? I remember that. Yes. 2008, 2009, right around. I was living up north, living a totally different life, but I do remember that.
Okay, and
yeah.
We were out in front of at the time it was in Greenland. There was some sort of health office, and I was in part of that. Aki, all those guys, Elvis, Aki, and another brother that was another Somali brother who was AP too. Now the problem with AP is that they had brown skins, right? The problem is that they were confined to those areas.
Yeah.
All right. And this is something you might find interesting. You know who used to be the culture minister, Abid Raja, right?
That's correct, yeah.
At one point in time when he was trying to get famous, I actually met him.
Did you? Yeah.
Yes, I did. And I talked to him a couple of times when he was out on the street trying to, I'm not really sure what he was trying to do. But
he had this weird period where he was trying to get famous, if we can say that. Yeah.
Let's go with that, trying to get famous, because he was identifying with his brothers, right? And then because remember, he took all these high-profile prejudice cases, and he was this.
He's a comer and goer. I call him a comer and goer. When it fits, oh, he's this immigrant, son of immigrants, and all. But when it doesn't fit, he will stiff arm.
Which is why he didn't become leader of Venstre.
Well, I think people read through his.
He's pretty
fakeness.
transparent about that
so.
too.
I think
but at one point in time, when he was trying to be brother this, right? He was quasi legitimate. Now, all of these guys that I knew from AP, right, and because he was SVA, it was really hard to. Okay, I'm doing my Republican thing again. It's like it was hard for me to tell one communist from another.
Oh, I bet. I can imagine.
So it was the same,
especially here in Norway.
It's the same thing for me.
But see, that's part of what fascinates me about you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the what's the title? Vice chair for Republicans.
I'm vice chair.
Vice chair for Republicans abroad Norway. But at the same time, at one point, you were a part of the Green Party.
Yes, I was.
And I'm just trying to make that match.
Okay, the thing is,
philosophically,
I grew up like any other kid.
As we all do. Yeah.
Yes, I grew up on the South Side. Okay, my South Side might be this, and South Side might be that. Chicago, and but I'm still a kid, right? And Don't Litter, Smokey the Bear, right? Crying on Chief
Give
what's his face.
Don't pollute. Yeah,
give a hoot, don't pollute.
The Native American with the tears.
Yeah, the homie with the tears and all that. The hole in the ozone layer.
Mm-hmm.
All of that, right? I gave a kid. I don't pollute. I don't litter. Just like it, I grew up not doing that. And it was something. It was. I don't make I don't make a big deal about this because it's something that I grew up with.
Yeah.
But I'm as concerned with the environment as anybody else.
See, and I like to hear that. That doesn't surprise me, but to a lot of my listeners and viewers, that will surprise them because the Republicans, those in leadership and very, very many of the other Republicans on down the line are so adamant about climate change denial. And that's what people are used to. That's the narrative that gets put out there by so many Republicans.
Dude,
and then, of course, it's reinforced by Democrats.
Am I a rich white guy?
Yeah, but see, but again, and especially here in Norway, that's what a lot of people will find surprising. To me, it's not unusual to see a Black American who is a Republican. That's not unusual to me. But here in Norway, people are like, what? Again, because of that narrative that's pushed.
I have to tell you, some people. Okay, I live in Bjerke.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you ever lived in Knoxville, but it's on the other side.
I know where it is, yeah.
On the east side,
Mm-hmm.
all right? Now, there were people who didn't know me from Adam, right? Just another black guy with the funny hair, all right? They saw me on TV.
Mm-hmm.
They came up to me to talk to me as a Republican, as the Trump guy.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah.
And it wasn't that big a deal.
Right.
Now, I'll tell you, I got a funny story for you. You're going to love this. I've been to the FRP convention every year since 16 up until COVID.
Okay.
All right. My very first year there, I walked through there, and I was the very first one of us here from the Republicans. I walk up, and I'm like, oh, wow, this is pretty cool. It's over at the Scandic.
Yeah.
And the guy looks at this. He says, where you going? I said, I'm going to the FRB convention. He goes, no, you're not. No, you're not.
And your reaction?
Of course, you know what my reaction was.
but you know what I'm talking about, though. It's there is a narrative that is pushed by the Republican leadership in America, very, very clear about how they feel about climate change, and that, of course, is I mean, it's wrong, but it's smart politics. That's reinforced by the Democrats. Yeah, see, look at the Republicans. They don't believe in climate change. So when that goes in a loop constantly.
Bro, I think the only thing when you're talking about climate change, the only thing that's really an issue is what to do about it.
says you and I and most people. But again, there's that Republican narrative that climate change is just bogus. There's nothing to think about, nothing to do. Do you see why people would be surprised? You understand why people would be surprised that you are not just a Republican, but the vice chair for Republicans Abroad, Norway. And I wonder, how does that affect your messaging? How does that affect the work that you do?
If you've ever heard me on TV, do you hear me stray from the question? Do you hear me? Do you hear me proselytize about Trump's value and his virtue?
No.
Never. Because the fact of the matter is, and I said this the night he was elected, I said that Trump's value to the Republican Party is this and only this, that he governed as a Republican. Now, everything, that's up to debate, brother. Okay? And I'll be the first one to tell you, as spokesman and vice chair, that we could do without the extra that we get with him, right?
Well, what do you classify as that extra?
The same thing as everybody else calls it extra.
Okay, but you call it extra, but shouldn't it be a disqualifier? Some of these things, his ethical, his moral, the things that
if we're going to do that, then we disqualify Biden. So no, we don't.
Yeah, but I don't think you can. I don't think you can put those two on the same level.
Can. Yes, you can.
How so?
The fact of the matter is, they're both men, which means they both have faults. And,
of course, they have faults. Yes, everyone is faulted.
But
yes,
I remember. You remember Biden was one of the 12. You remember that?
One of the 12.
Okay, maybe not one of the 12. Yeah, I think it was one of the 12 at one point in time. Two guys that signed my petition to be in the Air Force Academy, was Paul Simon and Adlai Stevenson III. At one point in time, both of these guys were going to fill the empty room from Bush. And that, I was going to say Ford. What's his name? Joe Biden was one of these guys. Biden disqualified himself. Now, most people forget this. Biden disqualified himself by plagiarizing a speech not once, but twice. Okay? That's a fault.
It's a fault. And then a lot of people will say, well, what year was this? How long ago was this? Don't people change? And here's where I draw a line.
We could go back. Okay.
Hold on. Here's where I draw a line of difference between Trump and Biden. Biden with the crime bill and how it affected Black Americans. Biden going after Anita Hill during testimony. All of those things wrong. Very, very wrong. But since then, there's been a change of behavior.
Why? Because he was vice?
No, hold on. Since then, he has come out in his own words and spoken about how the crime bill was a mistake. Okay. He thought it fit at the time, but in hindsight, he sees that that's a mistake.
Okay.
Anita Hill, all kinds of issues where Biden is not afraid to say, I was wrong. I got that one wrong. I want to know, when has Trump ever admitted to doing anything wrong? Ever? That right there tells me that that's a character issue, and character, I believe, is important when we're talking about president of the United States.
We are, as Americans, we are not going to reelect George Washington. Okay, we're not going to reelect.
No,
but
we're not talking about George Washington. We're talking about Biden.
I'm making a point with George. Of course, we're not going to reelect George Washington, but I'm making a point.
Or anyone like him. Okay, I know you're making a point, but my point is that when we look at these two men, there has to be a process of facing up to the realities of the qualities of each, and the quality of character, of humility, of being able to acknowledge that your thought process is wrong.
Would you want somebody to sit in judgment of your character?
Absolutely not, but I'm not president of the United States.
Okay, that doesn't make it.
These men are held up to a different standard.
And you just said, why shouldn't that make a difference?
I'm not sure what you're saying.
Okay, well, let me help you out.
Go ahead.
Why should that make a difference? Because they're just men.
They are just men, but because they are in this office as our leaders.
It's supposed to be what?
They're supposed to be held to a higher standard, especially
Who says?
When it comes.
It's not in the Constitution.
It's not in the Constitution, but you can't remove human.
That would be.
Humans have a tendency to choose as their leaders those who are of the highest.
Actually,
character.
no, you don't.
They have a tendency. I didn't say they always get it right. but they have a tendency to do that. And there's a reason for that. People want their leaders to be, and I put this in air quotes, more pure than they themselves.
No.
You don't believe that?
No,
You
this
don't
is
believe
not
that?
the 1850s. No.
No, it's
He's not King.
2023.
He's not King Arthur.
He is-
No, it's
certainly
not
is
going to
not. He
happen.
certainly is not.
No, and Joe Biden is not King Arthur either.
Absolutely not. And I'm saying that they are flawed, but I'm also saying within those flaws, people still have a certain expectation.
Then
of
you can
character.
vote that way, but that
Exactly.
doesn't. But you can vote that way, but that doesn't categorically say whether he should be president or not.
Obviously, Trump was
Your
president.
vote should, and let's hope if we're lucky, he'll be president again.
But why do you think Trump's Trump presidency #2 would be better for America
Because
than
what he
Biden or anyone else?
because what he would do would be aligned with how I see things.
Which is, for example,
What do you mean?
foreign policy. Let's take that.
I'm an ex-Marine. What do you think?
I'm a Marine as well. But just like Black Americans obviously are not a monolith,
No.
Marines are also not a monolith.
No.
So please tell me, what would Trump do as far as foreign policy?
You know the thing that
you
I
would think would be
overlook it?
better?
You were afraid to piss him off.
Who?
Anybody.
Who?
Everybody.
Me?
The whole world.
Afraid to piss someone
Piss
off?
him off.
I do that to my wife every day.
I'm not talking about you and your wife. I'm talking about to the main man. Look, you might have disrespected him, you might have liked him, you might have loved him, but you didn't want to piss him off.
Piss off who?
Anybody, you know who I'm talking about.
I really don't.
Yes,
I
you
really,
do.
I really don't.
You know I'm talking about Trump. You know you didn't want to piss that old crazy man off.
I think if it wasn't for the fact that as president he has so much power to do good or bad, I would laugh every time someone mentioned that man's name. I think the guy is a fool. So I'm not afraid of pissing him off. I could care less.
I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about America's enemies.
Okay, I got you. Okay.
Nobody's afraid of Biden. Nobody. Nobody's afraid of Blinken.
Yeah, but I don't think it's about anyone being afraid. If you look at the polls,
Yes, it is.
If the polls are to be believed, America is much more respected, and I believe the respect is much more important than fear.
Okay, let me ask you a
America
question.
is much more respected under President Biden than they are.
Actually,
under,
they're not.
well, I can pull that up. There's several polls that say that.
There will be several polls that say, we ran a poll. I know what polls can do for you.
Who's we?
We did. Our organization.
Republicans abroad?
Yes, we ran
Okay.
a poll. We ran a poll 2 years in a row.
Okay, where? Where did you pluck your poll subjects from? Just Norway or around the world or what?
What did you think we were going to do?
I'm just asking.
We had us a little simple straw poll.
Okay, is this published somewhere online? This poll? I'd love to. If you have a poll saying that, I'd love to see it. I'll post it. I will.
We ran a poll 2 years in a row. We just had it this year.
Where is it posted?
I don't know if we ever posted.
I'm going to
it.
write that down. I'll do some research. I'll see if I can find
You
that
don't have to
poll.
do any research.
And-
I ran the poll.
Well, I'd love to see it. My research will come if you can't tell me where it is. Then I'll have to research it to find it.
If you find it, let me know.
Okay. There we go. That's fair. If I find it, I'll let everyone know because
It's
I'll
at
post
the
it.
park. Is RAN. It was at our booth. You would be surprised at some of the things that we found out.
Probably not.
No, yes, you would.
For example, what would surprise me?
This year, she won.
Who won?
Kamala.
She won what?
She won the poll.
Tell me what the poll was, please.
You mean?
You're saying Kamala Harris won the poll.
Yes,
What
she
was the
did.
poll? What was the poll?
Who would you vote for president if you had a vote?
There we go. And Kamala Harris won? That's a
Kamala-
surprise.
Yeah, right. It was
I
a
said I
surprise.
wouldn't be surprised. That surprises me.
Yes, it was. That's case in point. Small case in point. But you can get in okay. I'm an engineer. Okay? I'm not more of a technician than an engineer.
Yeah?
Because I really suck at calculus.
That's a foreign language to me, calculus. Go.
Okay. Now the thing is, when you deal with huge numbers, you can make those numbers say anything you want them to say.
Absolutely. That's why I had a caveat. I said, according to polls, I said parentheses, if those polls are to be believed.
And
because it's a crazy science.
Yeah,
it is.
Well, it's full of shit, but okay.
Often, yes.
Okay, now the thing is that in my own little booth, in my own little world there, from the cops to everyday people, they would tell me, well, we're not going to say it out loud, but go Trump.
Yeah.
All right?
There's a lot of people.
Yes, they would come up to tell me.
They started coming forward in 2014. They surprised the heck out of Hillary Clinton. The ones that kind of keep it quiet about who they really support. Absolutely. I'm aware of that.
Okay.
Those people are out there.
And that means something. And it means something more than when the elites can throw some numbers at you.
Yeah.
Plain and simple.
Yeah, no, and that's why I always say if the poll is to be believed. But if you guys ran a poll saying that America is less respected under
No. That was only opinion, brother.
Okay.
We didn't run a poll. We said we ran the simple poll was, who would you like to see as president? We did not ask, if we knew better than to ask a lofty question like, is America more respected? No, you can't do that.
But well, you certainly can.
You could. The thing about large numbers, if you can weigh those, and by weighing I mean you could put more emphasis on one thing than the other. Yeah. And when you do that, you can get the answers you're looking for.
Exactly, and that's why polls are always. Yeah, if we would have believed the poll, or if the polls would have been correct, Hillary Clinton would be president right now. So that's why I say the polls. To me, that's the biggest example of the polls not being accurate.
It's more of an example that you can get numbers are large enough. They can tell you anything you want them to tell you.
Exactly.
So that only serves the elites that can afford that.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to the man in the street, the guy that's got to pay his bills.
Yeah.
The guy that's got to do his own shopping.
Yeah.
That's a different thing.
Yes.
Okay. And the thing is that. I don't want to get into a big old discussion until you do a big old discussion
about
left and right, the Democrats and Republicans. Because
we'll touch on that. We'll touch on that.
I can do that too.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
Plainly put, when it's simple, when your life choices are more reduced, you become more basic in how you look at things.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, and those basic things have a lot to do with getting from day to day.
Sure.
And they have almost nothing to do with the big picture until it becomes time to vote. And in that vein, I got something else for you. All right. Africans. We can talk about that later because that's deep.
No, go ahead. Let's hit it. What are you talking about?
All right. Now, most of my friends, a lot of my friends are Africans. All right. And it's because they're brothers. All right. Now, you can say this and you can say that about Norwegian society. But it was certainly a pleasure to be surrounded by brothers. Okay?
It's a different day-to-day interaction.
Just last night, and actually I want you to hear this. We had this discussion about brothers, Africans. Okay? And we had this discussion about slavery. And it was great. It really was. You would love this. Yeah. Because it had a lot to do with how they look at us and we look at them. Yeah. All right? And I say this because what it does, it tells you how, first of all, the commonality we have with most people have this, they're concerned about the same thing. Yeah. What they do about it and how they see it is the difference. That's where the difference comes in. Right. And when you're in a position like I am, which is really goofy because, okay, I mean, I'm just a guy. But when you're in a position that people, at the drop of a hat, people start talking to you about stuff. Yeah. It's like, wait, just a guy. Yeah, yeah. But when you have to live up to your position, especially, you can say this, you can say that, but I've been in my position quite some time. Right. Right? How long have you been here in Norway? I've been in Norway, this is 26 years. 26 years, wow. Yeah, I've been here a long time. Yeah. I've been in Oslo 23, right? 21 years for me. You know what's funny is you crack me up with the way you speak Norwegian. It's hilarious.
Why is that?
I remember when I wanted to be like you.
What does that mean? Be like me?
I wanted to be able to speak like them.
Okay, yeah.
I remember one time I did. And
Did you? Yeah.
I had developed a Oslo accent.
Okay, yeah.
Then I just got over it. To tell you the truth, I did. I used to be very meticulous about how I spoke.
What made you not be meticulous about how you speak?
Everyday life.
How so?
I was mistaken for African.
Because of the way you spoke Norwegian.
I was mistaken for African. I don't know why I was
Okay,
mistaken for African.
I see.
But I was mistaken for African.
Mm-hmm.
No. I couldn't do that no
Yeah.
more.
But how does the way you speak Norwegian... Did you change the way you spoke Norwegian to hopefully change people's perception of you so that they would no longer mistake you for African?
No.
I'm just trying to get that to make sense.
No. I wasn't trying to change anything.
Okay.
What I was trying to do was speak better Norwegian.
Okay.
And I thought that if I sounded like everybody else, that made my language better.
Okay.
And the reason I stopped that is because it didn't.
Okay. I'm not saying that accented Norwegian is better or worse. But what... Okay, so somewhere along the line, you just decided to stop trying to speak.
No, I didn't say that. I said I stopped trying to sound like everybody else.
Right.
I no longer wanted
That's what I was going to say. You stopped trying to speak like everyone else.
No, I said sound, not speak. Sound.
Okay. Yeah.
Because there's a difference.
Okay.
Because I speak very good Norwegian. I just don't spout it off.
Right.
Right? I will surprise you. I've had to make speeches in Norwegian. You see me on TV. Yes, it comes across clunky, but I do that mostly because I like the fact that you have to listen to me talk. I think more than anything else, that's what I didn't like. I didn't like you didn't actually hear what I said. You didn't get what I meant. You thought I meant something else because you heard sounds from me that sound familiar, which means you stopped listening to me. I believe that's exactly.
That's an interesting point. There is a problem with, we kind of touched on it about 10 minutes ago,
right.
15 minutes ago, about how there are so few black men in Norway who are being seen and heard in the media picture in Norway.
So many of us.
There's got to be a reason for that.
Oh, yeah, there's a reason for that, all right. I spent, Lisa, okay?
Yeah, Cooper, yeah.
Lisa.
Hi, Lisa. I need to get her back on my show.
Oh, hell yeah.
I haven't spoken to her in 2 or 3 years. Wow. Since COVID.
Yeah.
Actually, I haven't spoken to Lisa since she was last on my show, and that's coming up on 4 years.
Really?
Yeah.
I am so surprised.
Why is that?
Because the two of you would seem to be a natural fit.
That may be so, but, with her doing the work she does, I'm doing the work I do. I live here. She lives there. I don't think we have any common friends. We have some common social media acquaintances, but I don't think we have any friends in common, so to speak. We may be a good fit. Yeah. I don't know Lisa that very well. I don't know her very much personally. Yeah.
She
and he laughs.
She was one of the first people I met here.
Yeah, you guys have sat on a few forums together.
Yes, we have.
Discussion and debate forums.
We had a great one in Trondheim. It was hilarious.
I think that's the one that I saw on YouTube.
The one where
a couple 3 years ago, Lisa sent it to me in that time period when she was on my show. She sent me a video of you guys at some point.
Her and the professor up there, right?
Yes.
The American professor.
That's right. Yeah, like a political science professor.
Whatever she was.
Yeah. I remember that one. But let me get back on this thing about how people perceive you. I'm just trying to understand where you're coming from, because this is interesting. The invisibility, if I can use that word, of black men in Norway is a real thing. Being taken serious, or the lack of being taken serious as a black man in Norway, that's a real thing. And it's interesting what you're saying about the language side of things, that you stopped trying to speak like everyone else
Yeah.
because of that.
I stopped trying to sound like everybody
Yeah.
else. Okay. My language is still my language. I am really good at Norwegian,
Sure.
but I don't sound like them.
Yeah.
And I stopped trying to sound like them.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Because I just didn't like the way I was received because, like I told you, I didn't like the fact that people stopped listening to me.
That's an interesting perception, and I won't step on that, but I think that's another example of how our experiences as black men, there is no monolith, there is no single path, because I think that a big part of my success here in Norway is because of my speaking ability, and that I am often told that I have little to no accent, and they're also fascinated that I speak the dialect. That I do.
It is remarkable. You're one of the few Americans I've met that you're exactly right. At one point in time, like I said, I aspired to that. And hallelujah for you.
Well, thank you. I think it's done me well. I think it has opened doors for me.
I don't know, bro. I'm gonna tell you the truth. When you were on TV at the election time, I'm pretty sure that it illustrated my point. But they kind of he kind of stopped talking to you.
I'm trying to think which TV appearance that was.
NRK.
NRK. Was it in the Dogs Vivian, the 7 o'clock thing where I was with, Iraki. I was with Åse Vartdal. Or
you were on the news?
But I was on. There were so many different appearances, so I'm not sure which one you're referring to. And I don't think any of them was with a male.
I don't remember whether it was a male or not. I remember one thing about it because you remind me about what they used to do to us. That at some point in time, they lost interest in what we were saying. And it was really
You actually saw that during a broadcast? Really?
Yes.
Okay. Interesting.
I saw that when they're talking to you. The only person I've ever seen them be interested in was Lisa.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Now, I will agree with you, at least partially. Lisa, I don't want this to be anything bad about Lisa. To me, it's something that is bad about Norwegian media. It's like they found their person.
Yes, they did.
It's Lisa Cooper.
Yes, it was.
And everyone, get out of the way. Oh, you want to talk? No, move, Lisa.
Did you see her movie thing? Where she was on it was a television show, and she was actually Lisa Cooper as Lisa Cooper. It was hilarious.
How's that for being recognized by Norwegian media? Lisa Cooper as Lisa Cooper. No, but I do believe, but see, that goes along with what, and I point this out repeatedly in everyday conversation when I get a chance, and also on my show when I get a chance. The Norwegian media, I believe, has gone out of their way to exclude men like us from the day-to-day debate, discussion, news, happenings, and even entertainment. Surprisingly enough. So I think they found Lisa, and hats off to Lisa. I love her. I don't want this to be anything bad about her, but I think they found Lisa. They're comfortable with her, and they're biting their nails, hoping that nobody calls them out to where someone has to make a change and actually start giving other people a platform.
Actually, I think that...
I don't think I'm wrong when I say that.
I didn't say that, brother. Okay, I didn't even get the thought out.
No, that's for anybody out there who thinks I'm wrong. I know they're coming on YouTube. I know they're coming.
Look, you're not wrong.
That's just my opinion. That's just my opinion.
Remember this about the Norwegians. They don't care what we think.
Exactly.
Okay?
We are so marginalized, it's not even an effort.
There's not enough of us here.
Exactly.
All right?
Exactly.
And beyond that, you got one of our American social media groups, right? How successful is that?
What do you mean successful?
Yeah. What do you mean successful?
I know they have I think it's over 9,000 members, which is pretty
Did
impressive,
anybody ever contact you and ask you what you thought?
For you mean like anyone from TV2 or NRK?
Has anybody?
Yes, all the time.
Who?
TV2, NRK, other podcasters.
Where does this appear at?
Excuse me?
Where does this appear?
On NRK Radio, both the Buskerud sending and the national sending. What is the name of that show? It's a morning show that starts at 6 in the morning, and it's sent both on radio and on television. Can't remember it. There's also 2 NRK podcasts that have had me on semi-regularly for a while. I'm consulting. I'm also a consultant for people who are starting or building up their podcasts. So they're asking me my opinion on things. Yeah. Why? Why do you ask that question? Now, do I think that there's enough people or, and again, it doesn't have to be me, but again, I stand by what I say that the Norwegian media does not seem to care about the opinions of people of men who look like you and I. They just don't.
I think it's interesting you make that delineation, but I think the overarching principle is the fact they don't care. They don't care at all.
Yeah, I don't think they do. I think that they, and again, Lisa Cooper is very intelligent. She does some very good and interesting work. She's a great voice to have out there when things are to be discussed. That's great. But I just think that from the NRK perspective, she's just symbolic. And you laugh.
You mean token?
I was trying to avoid using that term, but yeah, I think that is how bad. I think that's how bad Norwegian media is about having a broad perspective. And yeah, we're not that many people here, but we are people who are here, and we should be represented in the news media.
No. We should make our mark. No, we should.
Yeah,
no.
Absolutely. But that's why I do my show. Regardless of who's listening, regardless of who asked me my opinion, I'm going to do my show because this thing that you and I and other Black Americans especially, but Black people in Norway in general, and then even in a broader generality, immigrants in Norway, we are people who are here and we should have a voice. So I put it out there.
That's very gentlemanly of you.
That's how I was raised. Sorry.
Very gentlemanly of you to
Ohio
put it
country boy raised.
in those terms. That's very nice
What
of
terms
you.
would you put it in?
we probably
No, there's no censorship here. Say what you want.
Okay, remember I'm prone to swearing.
It's okay. Swear away. A lot of F-bombs get dropped by guests here.
F-bombs. Look, the Norwegians are full of shit. Okay, plain and simple. Now the thing is,
On all things?
most things, shit. And back in my pub, I usually give it to them both barrels. All right, so you should see the pub sometimes.
I would actually love to be. You should give me a call one of these days when you guys are gathered there. I would love to
We
be
should
in on
see
that.
it sometimes.
Yeah,
We're all over the place.
I bet.
And I get them going.
Mm-hmm. Well, they don't like to be told about themselves.
Tough titty. Look, the thing is, I see the same thing that they see.
Yeah.
And it annoys them because I see it in their language
Yes.
as they understand it.
Yes.
And this is important. As they understand it, I know why they say the things they do. I watch them stupid debate programs. I watch the news constantly, right? The language is not a problem for me. Most of their attitudes are not a problem for me. I can tell you why they have that particular person on there and why that particular person got so much time.
Yeah.
I can tell you because I read the press too.
Yep.
So I can tell you what point of view is being espoused and why. And it has a lot to do with how they do things. And it speaks on their control of the media and how they make opinions.
Yeah.
And that their opinions do not concern us, and we do not concern their opinions.
Exactly. We might as well be invisible when it comes to...
We just about are.
Yep.
All right? So this is where you don't ask, impose. Because the fact of the matter is, if you don't, like I like to say, the thing about the Vikings don't respect you if you don't fight them back.
You're talking about the football team in Minnesota, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Just to clarify.
The Vikings don't respect you if you don't fight them back.
That is historically correct. And probably in a modern sense as well. Well, let me ask you this. Okay, we agree that they aren't listening to us. They aren't giving us a platform. I don't wait to be given a platform. I make my own. That's why we're here doing what we're doing right now. Do you think that there are enough of us, whether it's Black Americans, Black Africans in Norway, or other immigrants in Norway, do you think that we're doing enough to create our own platforms and put our voices out there?
Now, I'll tell you something. Some point in time ago, as vice chair and as, hold on with me, as vice chair and as spokesman, what was the best term? What's the way to put this? I actually engendered, composed, so to speak, a constituency speaking to exactly what you said.
Okay.
Because I'm basically a religious conservative. All right, which yes, it branches off into the Republicanism, but basically, I'm a religious conservative. I had connections with and I still have connections with other ethnic groups other than Black Americans.
Right.
All right. I had strong connections to the Nigerian church here, to more than one Nigerian church here. Strong connections to Latin churches here and to Latin preachers here. I went to there's plenty to talk about there, but the PDK. I went to the one year. I went to the Jesus Convention, for lack of a better term.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I went to the Jesus Connection, and I met all of these religious conservatives. I met the Kurdish people, right, and they're Jewish people supporters. Now the PDK is near to my heart because they are religious conservatives, and we still communicate to this day.
Yeah.
Now the thing was, they were under the KRF. Now the problem was
Kristelig Folkeparti. It's a Christian political party in Norway.
Let's go with white Christian political party.
Vincent wants to go with the white Christian political party.
Just this,
I love it.
Just this morning on Political Quarter, there was discussion. It's the 5-year anniversary of the crash and burn of the KRF. Mm-hmm. Remember when they were trying to go? They were going to go from the right side to the other side, in order to get Sturda as prime minister. Remember this?
Yes, I do.
Okay. It was a 5-year anniversary. And what was interesting about this is that I remember I went down to to the PDK's, their annual meeting, right? I go to them and I says, I know these guys, and I know these. I want to get you a constituency here in Oslo.
Yeah.
All right. It was great. Up until
Vincent with boots on the ground.
Damn right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go on now.
And I go in front of Central Theater. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden I ran into the white wall, so to speak. And I have nothing good to say about KRF.
Central Theater is like the head commission of the party.
Okay. And I have nothing good to say about them. And the thing was, this is exactly right. What you're saying, exactly right. It was a coalition of colored folks.
Yeah.
Okay? That had the same convictions. As a matter of fact, right now, I'm trying to convince people to give it another go. My biggest thing was to vote. I said to vote.
Yes.
And the thing was, they just picked this up. It just picked us up that it was important to vote. Because this very last cycle of voting, I went around, vote. And then finally, it got some traction. Because that's
God bless you for doing that. There's never enough people voting. Never. Until everybody votes, there's not enough.
So and especially not us.
Good for you.
All right? Now, and I have been trying to do this for over long periods of time.
Yeah.
So that Eric, the head of the PK, as a matter of fact, I go to the PK all the time. All right? And I was so disappointed I wasn't able to put that together. That had a lot to do with Central Theater. And that was the PDK Central Theater because they were too closely connected to KRF. And I thought for sure that this is a slam dunk.
Right.
Because the Christian conservatives, KRF is supposed to be on the right side, right?
You would think, yeah.
Yeah. And then this is the kicker. 4 years ago, when Harrider couldn't figure it out,
yeah,
I was there when I was there during all of their stuff. That is, they were trying to decide.
Yeah.
Bolestad is now leader of the KRF, right? And the other one was on TV. What's his name? I can't remember the guy's name. But when Bolestad actually became leader,
yeah,
but it was this other guy that was there first, and he spoke there at the community house down in Oslo.
Yeah.
And I went there to find out what the hell was wrong with KRF.
Yeah.
I talked to one of their guys, one of their central steerers, and I says, Republican Party, right side, all this. What are you guys doing? Why are you doing this? And Sturter's been trying to be prime minister ever since Stoltenberg blew town.
Yeah.
And why are you doing this? Nobody really wants this clown. Now, yes, in the ensuing years, he's put the stranglehold on the Arbeider Party, but mostly that had a lot to do, and I hate to get too deep into Norwegian politics, but that had a lot to do with FRP bugging out of the government.
Yes. Right.
Okay? So it's like all of that didn't help. Now, yes, Hoyter managed to do what they needed to do, but Hoyter's has got the same problems as KRF's. Only they're just more powerful.
Right, right.
All right? There was just... FRP is what they are. But it was Hoyter that was a disappointment. Mm-hmm. All right? And then even further than that, when Vinstra is a better... Vinstra's a better alternative than KRF, that's just sickening.
So it's obvious you're very involved in political and social issues.
Yeah.
But where is the other guy? Same background as an immigrant in Norway who's out there doing this kind of work. In other words, back to my question, are there enough of us out there doing this work? And if so, where are they? And if there aren't enough of us out there doing this, why not? And what can we do about it?
We need somebody to succeed.
Ah.
All right. When I was coaching, that's one of the things that and this is why I'm so, like you said, so close to. I coached in the Norwegian Football League for 5 years. All right. I coached one of the worst teams in the league, but we learned how to win. Okay, and they were guys from the streets. They were guys that Sylvia Listog now talks about blocking up. Okay, these guys now have learned the lessons of what it is to live here. And when they were kids, when they were small kids, because I'd coached from 12 to 19,
yeah,
right? And I had to tell them this is at a time when they were still thought of themselves as equal to Norwegians, which was a mind blower, but okay. The fact of the matter is, what they didn't have is they did not have a success that they could recognize.
I see.
And what we don't have a success we can recognize.
Great point, Vincent.
That's our
Great
problem.
Point. Great point. I couldn't have said it better myself.
I've been known to turn the phrase from time to
Every
time.
once in a while. No, I like that though, and that's very true. That is, somebody should make a banner and get a biplane to fly up and just circle around Oslo and Drammen with that on a banner. We need somebody to succeed. Because representation matters.
Damn right it does.
If these young brothers and sisters, these children of immigrants or immigrants themselves, saw one of us
Succeed.
That's. But I take the small wins as well, because when someone like you is on television, speaking, debating, being seen and heard, and again, doesn't happen enough. Nope. I don't know if it's just a symbolic thing. Sorry, Lisa Cooper, but whatever. There's not enough of us out there. When somebody like you or me is out there on the radio, TV, doing a show like this, being active in the streets, trying to get people to vote, trying to get, asking the right questions about political and social issues as you are, those are small wins.
Yes.
And that's why I think, of course, the blame lays on the Norwegian society, but shouldn't we also have a little bit more responsibility in the sense that how many of us are actually starting our own media houses? How many of us are actually starting?
Actually, I've been there, did that, okay? What we didn't do was define what we were going to do when we got there.
Another good point.
In other words, when we hit the Obiora thing good, okay? We even made the video. I was on stage with Gata's Parliament. As a matter of fact, I still know Elling, right?
Yeah.
I still, and his brother, he writes for our Barteblag, Dagsavisen.
Dagsavisen, yeah.
All right, that's Boogaloo. That's saying is wrong. Sorry, Ellie. But what we did was especially when we got a hold of we got a hold of female genital mutilations. We actually got one of our videos to a feeder channel in the FM.
Interesting.
United Nations. The thing was, we did not define what to do with that.
Right.
We did not define where to go with that. We didn't tell people. We did this. Why?
So the journey was started, but the circle was not closed. That's the problem. That's a problem.
First of all, not enough
follow through.
People knew what we were doing. All right.
Yeah, follow through and messaging need to be in place.
And as coach, that was a thing of mine was follow through.
Yeah.
Right. So you got there. We tagged the Obiora thing. Then what?
Right.
All right. I put an article in. God damn it. Shit. I put an article in some Oya night. It was an Evandra magazine that you still see, but you see it basically in the library.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I put an article in there about.
Who goes to libraries these days? We have the internet, so.
You'd be surprised what you could do in the library.
Oh, I know. Just a little side note. We were back home in Ohio this summer, and we went to a Barnes & Noble, which isn't exactly a library.
That's not exactly a library, bro. That's a bookstore.
But here's my point. And I was very surprised at the number of people in there. Actually, because most people don't read. It's a struggle to get kids to read. And because so many kids don't read, they grow up to be adults that don't read. And I was shocked that place was, I don't know if you know how big Barnes & Noble's stores have gotten these days, but it was huge, packed. That's a little side thing. That's just something I know. Every time I go home, things are a little bit different. But that surprised me, that the desire to read and the interest in actual handheld books seem to still be in place.
Well, I guess you could say this, you could say that, but I'm an engineer. And actually, my specialty is microprocessor control systems.
Wow.
All right? That's actually what I do. What I did. So, a computer.
Old knowledge is still good knowledge.
yeah, I'm really good at what I do. The thing is, I learned the code,
Okay.
but it bores me silly. Anyway, we're going on. Actually, this ties into it. Coding and programming bored me senseless.
Yeah.
It really did. That's why I don't do it. I don't have, although to tell you the truth, I probably will start coding again. But I didn't think much of it. Making web pages, I didn't even find it difficult. I found it boring.
See, that stuff is like witchcraft to me. I don't understand it.
But I'm making a point is that when I used to be able to do very large microprocessors, I could take them out, put them in, rework them. I used to work for I worked for British Aerospace, but it was an FAA repair station.
Okay.
All right, so that it was very technical. And one of the things I always knew about computers was they are a tool.
Yeah.
Okay? Even Facebook is a tool. It is not an end in itself.
Right.
Okay? And people are, oh boy, we can do all kinds of fun things. To me, it's ones and zeros.
Yeah.
All right? To me, it's bias.
Right.
To me, it's actually, when I learned, okay, not to date myself, but when I learned electronics, what's called an analog computer actually still existed.
Oh, wow. We're going back. How old are you?
Let's not go there. I'm real old.
I'm going to guess if you don't tell me.
Yes.
I would say you are 56.
I'm older than that.
Are you?
That's as far as we're going to go with this.
Okay, Vincent is older than 56. We'll leave it there. Next issue, next topic.
Yeah, really. Thanks for that.
Well, no, and I'm looking at the time here now. We've been talking for over an hour. I don't want to hold you too long, but let me swing back to this. And again, to me, there's no reaction. I understand there's a lot of Black Americans who are Republican. But again, here in Norway, people are surprised by that. Have you found it difficult when it comes to messaging what the Republican Party stands for? Has that been a problem? Because again, Norwegians perceive you as a Black man being a Republican differently. And I also believe that Norwegians perceive what the Republican Party stands for. They perceive that in a different way than they do back home in America. Messaging. Is that an issue here in Norway?
Remember, I have an attitude problem, so no, it's not a problem for me. But I'll also give you this. Norwegians have this really weird thing about identifying as Black.
Yeah.
And I go, yes, I'm a Black man, but I'm an American. Okay? If you can't remember that I'm Black, I don't know why that would be difficult. If you can't remember that, remember I am an American. Okay? And yes, to your mind, Africans are Black people. Well, everybody else is Black people or colored people.
Yeah.
But Americans, for some odd reason, are not Black people.
Right.
Actually, yes, they are.
Isn't that odd, the way they do that?
It's stupid.
It's very stupid.
Okay, and that's also also another reason I'll hit you with English in a heartbeat. Okay.
That's a good question. Yeah. Okay. So when you're out and about,
Yes.
For example,
Go ahead.
on your way from the train station,
Yes.
in here, did you speak English?
Yes.
Okay.
Gets their attention.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get upset with folks because they're not thinking I'm something else.
Right.
And they're inclined to listen to me.
That is true. If they think you're African, they're going to treat you a little bit different.
Especially if you come with the
if they know you're American,
That's right.
they're going to treat having the same color of skin
That's
as
right.
many an African, but they're going to treat you different when
Especially when it comes to the funny hair, bro.
When they know you're an American, they do treat you different. And I'm generalizing, but it's also kind of true.
No,
very true.
It's very true. Yes, we're at the hotel, and guy gets on the phone with you, and he's blathering away, right? And he's like, Oh, I'm cool with that, right?
This is when Vincent was on his way from the train station. I'm trying to describe where he needs to walk to get here. So that's where we were.
So he was all cool with you, and you blast him with your drum and accent, and
Hold on, I do not speak with a drum and accent.
Sure, if you say so, bro.
Whoa, hold on now. Now I take offense. Let me just clear that up. When I came here, because I've spent most of my time, we still have our house up there in Finnmark. Okay, so that's where I'm.
That's even worse.
So I speak with a combination of the Finnmark dialect, the Nord-Troms dialect, because we lived there for a while as well, and also a little bit of Nynorsk, Vestlandet, because when we first came here, we lived with my in-laws, my wife's parents, and he was from Finnmark and she was from Vestlandet. I didn't take a Norwegian class to learn. I learned from what I heard. So I do not speak a Drammens dialect. You'll never hear me speak a Drammens dialect.
Oh, good
ever.
Lord. Okay. First of all.
Did I say ever? Ever.
Okay. So if you got to have it that way.
I gotta
you got to have it that way. You got to have it that way.
Look.
So what? It doesn't matter to me what. Look.
But you spoke English with those people.
Damn right.
And they helped you right away. No attitude.
Thank you, sir.
No funny looks.
Have a good day, sir. All right. None of that bullshit. Like, and it's like, what do you want?
Yeah.
Right. Because first of all, it's just gonna piss me off, and then I'm gonna get a bad attitude, and I already have an attitude problem. So I really don't need too much more than that.
But I and people can do what they want, but don't you feel that if you spoke a more clear, well, I don't know, I shouldn't even ask this question.
Go ahead and ask it.
You don't think that speaking a more clearly understandable, unaccented form of Norwegian would get you anywhere?
Get me where?
I don't know. I'm asking.
What would that do for me?
I'm just asking. I don't know. I have no idea.
That's a rhetorical question because I can't imagine what that would do for me.
Okay. Yeah, very rhetorical. Great answer.
Really, because I couldn't imagine what that would do. I don't know. I really don't know what that would do for me. I'm already just like Norwegians. I'm a victim of their own system. We haven't even
of their own system.
Their own system. We haven't talked about the way I live, have we?
Call yourself a victim, Vincent. They don't like that in the Republican Party.
Do I look like I care about that?
You're a Republican. You're a Republican.
Am I a white guy?
No, you're not a white guy.
Okay.
But let me ask you this. If there was something, I don't know, a philosophy, a line of rhetoric, something in the Republican Party that you could remove because you think it's detrimental, what would it be?
The perception that we're all rich white people.
Yeah.
Okay? And for somebody that means something. Because that actually, this is another subject for another day. But that whole thing about the what did they used to call them on the plantation? The overseer.
The overseer?
The poor whites that were in charge of the niggas.
Yeah.
You see, that is also the other component of the Republican Party. Okay? And that's the part you should be surprised. From Pegida to Sion to Alliansen to Democratina. Okay? All of them clowns come see us. All of them clowns come to my booth. All of those clowns come to my events. Right?
And how would you describe those parties?
What did I just say?
How Democratina, for example. Would you classify them as a far right wing representative party?
No, I wouldn't call anything here far right, because if you call anything that's far right here, it's Nazi.
Are they trying to be a far right? What we would term a far right?
No. See, most of them are not really even dangerous.
But how do you feel about the fact that a lot of people feel that if the Republican Party is not outright racist, that they at least dabble or coddle racist? How do you feel about that?
hold that thought a second. There does not exist racism in the Democratic Party.
Of course there does.
Okay.
There is. Of course.
I would think that those questions offset each other. It's the one in your face.
Yeah, but see, I can...
Wait. Is the one in your face?
Yeah.
Or is the one behind your back? Which one do you want?
I don't want either one.
That's not the question.
Well, my answer is I don't accept either one.
No, because
well,
you're going to live with... No, you're going to live with one. Which one do you want to live with?
We live with both. They both
Which
exist.
one would you rather live with?
Neither.
Stop. Nope.
Neither.
You're not answering my question. You're avoiding my question, and you're restating my own question.
The original question, though, was
No,
how do
I
you
asked
feel?
the original question.
No, I asked the original question, which was how do you feel about how the Republican Party very often, sometimes clearly, but at least appears to dabble in racism.
They do.
But how do you feel about that?
All of them do.
Okay.
All of them do. All of them that's not us do that.
But you can't. Do you both sides it by saying that it is done in an equal degree?
I don't care I don't care who doesn't like me. Not liking me is not liking me.
The question, though, is do you believe that the Democrats and the Republicans are equally supportive or coddling of racists?
I don't think there's any difference between their racism. One is in your back and one is in your face.
Why then take a leadership role within the Republican Party?
Thank you for that. Because I never really get to say this.
Please.
The fact that I have my values and my convictions, and they are shared by some cracker somewhere.
Ladies and gentlemen, this, I believe, the first, with the exception of possibly Tiffany Troutman, white lady from Florida, I believe this is the first time that anyone has used the term cracker and nigga on my show. Ever. I feel like I've reached something.
Yes, you have.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. So you feel then that because... No, tell me how you feel. You were in the middle of it. You're saying that some, as you put it, some crackers...
Just because some cracker believes something that I believe doesn't make us the same.
How do you work with them?
And it doesn't... And more importantly, it doesn't mean I give up my conviction because this fool thinks the same thing that I do.
How do you work with them, though?
They're people.
But how do you work with someone who, because to be a racist is to think that you are lesser.
I could care. You know what? This is the thing.
I know you don't care. I don't care either. Yeah. But I'm asking you, how do you work with someone like that? I'm not saying it's impossible.
When they come to my events, leave that shit over there.
Yeah.
I don't care what you think.
Uh-huh.
I myself have a little thing with the anti-Muslim thing. Yeah. Even with the PDK, I'm a little, right? Because I don't think that's cool at all.
But you can get on with them under the same tent if you guys are united for one specific goal.
When we are talking about my convictions and my values that coincide with theirs.
I understand. Yeah.
Now, and I'd like to tell you, if you want to deal with hate, I'm pretty sure I could dial me up some too. So how about that? How about we get to hating each other?
He doesn't have an attitude problem. No,
but
and I totally respect that answer. My question wasn't laid out there as a gotcha thing. I truly want to know, how do you work with those people? And you explained it. You know, when it comes to your convictions, if they agree with you and you agree with them, you can work with them, and you see no conflict in that. It's effortless. No detrimental, no side effects.
I told you I'm a conservative Christian.
No.
Judge not, lest you be judged yourself. So that, yes, you might be a creep. You probably are. But I'm not going to hold it against you if we have the same virtues, values, and convictions. Now, you have to deal with being a creep.
Right.
Over there.
Yeah. Like, and if you tell them very clearly, your racism, or
check that shit at the door.
Yeah,
straight up.
Here, under this tent, we're going to do this.
And this is how we do it. This is how we roll over here.
And again, no conflict.
Not on my side.
No.
Because again, you want to get to hating? I'm pretty sure I could come up with some.
Right.
So where we going to get? How are we going to get anywhere? You hate me, I hate you, and then what? We got to duke it out? You want to do that?
That's very interesting.
I come from the South Side, brother. You don't get nothing unless you don't hold nothing that you can't fight for.
Right.
Or you
right.
don't hold.
That's character. We were talking about character earlier. You said character doesn't matter. I say it does. That right there is an example of character that matters.
If I was running for president, hallelujah. I'm not running for president.
But you are a representative of the party.
See,
you're the vice chair here in Norway.
I am not a rich.
You don't think character matters?
I'm not a rich white guy.
I know that, but you don't think that character matters.
I don't think that it has anything to do when it comes to my convictions and my beliefs.
But if a person has questionable character, people are going to question your convictions and belief. And as a leader, as a political leader, isn't that an issue? If people start to question your motives, if they question your character, they're going to question your motives, and that weakens you as a leader, does it not?
Or let's flip that a minute here.
Okay.
Do I want you with me?
Well,
if that's what you're thinking, do I want you with me?
Well, obviously you don't. You say that character doesn't matter.
Now,
so
if we're gonna do that,
you're probably gonna think
it's mutually exclusive, is it not?
Yeah, but that doesn't benefit a party.
That would be mutually.
A party is about numbers to a large degree. It's about numbers.
Well, how do you build numbers?
By convincing them that your party line is the one to follow.
Actually, that sounds a lot like what's the word? Pandering.
The reality of it is that to a large degree, political parties have to pander. I just had Austin here, and I cannot remember word for word what we talked about, but we kind of touched on pandering and kind of agreed that, that pandering happens. It's kind of essential. You have to say things that as many people as possible
If you're going to get elected, yes.
Yeah, right.
Not if you're going to be in the field, no.
But doesn't that then create an internal problem where the soldiers out there in the field are saying, doing, acting, promoting a certain line of rhetoric?
Personally, I would tell you then you need different leaders.
My point exactly. You need a different leader if that person's character comes under question to the point to where it is hurting the party.
That becomes an issue.
And it becomes an issue if that lack of character
is it an issue because
the
other side says it's an issue, or is it the issue because the party says it's an issue?
Well, if the party says it's an issue, then it's an issue. If the party says it is not an issue,
if the party's not interested in it,
not an issue.
If the party's not interested in it, then it's not an issue for the party, is it?
Exactly.
So now we can go ahead and expand it. So the self-righteous go on about how he's not this and he's not that. Right?
And the stubborn and hard-headed who don't think that
stubborn and hard-headed
who don't think that character matters, your party will not grow.
Actually, it has.
It won't grow to the degree that it should because you have a lot of undecideds.
You guys keep saying that, but that's simply not true.
You have a lot of undecideds out there.
It's a wish.
Are you telling me that most of them also do not think that character matters?
Okay, if we're going to go
I'm asking you, do you think that?
I don't think that when you need a leader and you're talking about your pocketbook and you're trying to get from A to B on a daily basis, you could care less about some fucking sorry. You could care less about you could care less about character.
Okay.
Because
I'm not going to argue with it because that's what you think and that's what you believe. That's fine.
When your landlord wants his rent.
That's why I'll never have a landlord.
That's not the point.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Vincent. I'm just being trifling. Go ahead.
When your landlord wants his rent, does he care if you're Mother Teresa or Al Capone?
No.
Okay.
It's a pure capitalist motivation. He wants his money.
No, it's just the way of the world.
Yeah. He wants his money. Yeah.
All right. Now, would you like your guy that gives you the money to be, I don't know, the second coming of Jesus? Would you like that? Hell yes, you would.
It doesn't matter.
Actually, if you could have it that way, you'd like it that way.
Yes, absolutely.
But the fact of the matter is the world don't work like that, does it?
Vincent, you're kind of supporting my point. Most people want their leaders to have sound character.
There's not much difference between our 2 points of view.
Exactly. My point.
Right. Other than the fact that you got it wrong.
Well, He does not have an attitude problem. No, look, man, I love you to death, and we're joking now, but we're also serious. But I think the boil down point is that it's and I made this point with Austin as well. I made this point with my good brother Hans Jakob Vincent. He's a Norwegian Republican supporter, loves Trump. He's coming again in 2 days. The point is that although we disagree on the nuance of politics and social issues, the boiled down fact is that we mostly agree, because I believe human nature is that we want each other to do well. We want to do well ourselves, and we want each other to do well.
That's too much kumbaya for me. Okay, my head's splitting.
No,
I can't really. I don't relate to that.
And you hang out with all these Africans and you don't know what kumbaya is. No, look.
That's a terrible thing to say about Africans.
That's a terrible thing to say about Africans. It's not. I don't think it's a kumbaya thing. I think it's a factual thing.
No.
And I think that it's something that is forgotten in today's political and social discourse.
No, see, that's the thing is, man.
It's forgotten.
You're a cool guy.
Thank you.
I like listening to you. You're pretty smart, but you got to drop the whole kumbaya. No.
It's not a thing to drop.
Yeah,
it's
it
something.
is.
No, it's not. Because to me, it's and here's where I think you're wrong. Well, you're wrong in the sense.
No, go ahead, say it. You think I'm wrong.
You're wrong in the sense that you're trying to downplay my belief in the inherent goodness of people.
Yeah, okay. Well, I don't believe in the inherent goodness of people.
And that's fine. And
no, it's not.
Fine.
It's 180 degrees of what you like to talk about.
And that's fine.
No, it's not.
Why would it not? Why would it not be fine? Look at it.
Because if we all agree, we would be Norwegians.
That's very true. But my goal is to not agree with everybody or have everybody agree with me. My goal is to have more discourse.
I'm going to stick with the whole attitude thing, okay?
but I think that more dialogue, more discourse would do our nation, and I'm talking about the United States, it would do our nation well. I believe that is an element that is missing in society in general, but specifically in the political realm. The two opposite sides can no longer speak to each other, and that's not helping anybody. It's not helping anybody.
Okay, wait a minute now. Hold on a second.
My opinion.
I'm not sure about that. Now,
tell me your opinion, then we have to wind this up.
Okay.
Why am I less than correct in saying that both sides need to talk more, have more discourse?
Because I don't think anything has really changed. No, not at all.
You think?
I don't think so. No.
Okay.
We never needed to agree.
I didn't say that. I said they need to discuss.
I'm not finished yet.
Yeah.
Our strength is not to agree.
Amen. I agree.
Okay? It's to not to agree. Our strength is to find where we can compromise.
Yes.
We don't need to agree to compromise.
But you need to have dialogue in order to compromise.
You don't need to agree to have dialogue.
Of course not, but you need dialogue in order to compromise and come to solutions.
You say you want to split one from the other, and
I do.
Well, the thing
without
is,
dialogue, how are you going to come to some sort of forward motion? And that doesn't mean full agreement. That means, as you say, compromise. I agree wholeheartedly with that.
Look,
but you've got to be able to discuss things, and that's not happening. Look at our Congress.
Actually, we do discuss things. The thing is that we need to be right, and it's an elite thing. It's not a people thing.
Well, you and I agree that there's no need to be right.
That's right. There's no need to be right.
You and I agree there. And this just deepens the point that I'm making, that to agree is not necessary, but to have dialogue is essential if there's going to be
not to the exclusion of the elites that say that I know all of the answers.
I agree.
Well, there's too much of that happens on both sides. Look, I like me some Fox, right?
Oh, boy.
But there's some times I'm going, damn, shut up. Seriously.
You're talking about the...
I'm talking to the TV.
You're talking about the canine, the red fox?
Yeah, fox.
The canine.
I don't know what the hell that means.
The dog-like animal that lives out in the wild.
Okay. Yeah, fox. I like me some fox.
Fox TV, he's saying, everybody.
Bro.
That just went right over your head, or are you just being...
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm being,
You don't have an attitude.
what
Yeah.
me tell
You don't have an attitude. Go ahead.
I
Go
don't
ahead.
know what I keep telling you. Attitude problem,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, go ahead.
Now, I like me some.
Vincent likes Fox.
I love Fox.
Can I say it? Vincent likes Fox News.
Love me some Fox.
He loves him some Fox News.
I also.
You miss Tucker Carlson?
Damn right.
Wow. Hold on. Vincent miss. This is going up on her Instagram reel. Vincent misses Tucker Carlson. Go ahead, please. Go ahead.
Okay. Now, I love me some MSNBC.
Okay.
You know who was my favorite? And damn girl left. Mad Dog.
Rachel Maddow.
Oh, yeah. I love me some Ari Melba, right? Chris Hayes cracks me the fuck up,
Yeah.
right? I love watching that shit. Mm-hmm. The only people I really can't stand because they preach at you. Like, I'm a Catholic.
Uh-huh.
I can't stand nuns.
Oh, God.
CNN is the nunnery.
The nunnery of the cable news.
It's like,
CNN is the nunnery of cable news.
it's like, no, you are not Moses come down with the 10 Commandments.
Yeah.
Cut that shit out, right? But I love me some MSNBC because they got this point of view.
Yeah.
And they support that point of view.
Yeah.
Now, they're wrong most of the time. Fox, I love that point of view, right? They got some work to do over there, okay? And I love me some Tucker Carlson because I'm like, what?
Okay. There's hope. There's hope for you. Okay.
I watch all of this all of the time.
Yeah.
All right? No, okay, it's not that sick, but you get the point.
Yeah. You gather your news from different sources.
From different sources.
That's healthy.
That's how I know what's actually going on.
That's healthy. Yeah.
And you hear the Fox go, like, cut that shit out. And then MSNBC is like, you can't be serious with that. Mm-hmm. And then you get whatever the hell CNN is doing. Yep. All right? Whatever the hell these people think whoever they think they are. Mm-hmm. It's like, they can't be serious. Like, we didn't even get to the war, did we? We didn't get to Ukraine and none of that shit, right?
Next time. And
I'm looking forward to there being more than one next time.
Oh, Vincent, you are so welcome here. I've been wanting to do this for years, but because of scheduling and COVID and this, that, and the other, it didn't happen until now. I'm glad you're here, and you are always welcome here, anytime.
Very good, because I wanted to tell you, in my position, I got NUPE, the National Defense, and what's the other one? 3 of them. I go to their seminars on a lot. As a matter of fact, I'm going to a seminar. And why is it I just went brain fog?
Too much Fox News.
Yeah, pretty much. So, anyway, I do the Norwegian Defense. I'm on their newsletters.
Okay.
I'm on NUPE. I get there. I have their briefings all the time.
Okay.
I go to their seminars a lot.
Yeah.
Right. And then the one on Houseman's got down there by the Red Cross. What is that?
I'm not that familiar with Oslo. Too big of a city for me.
Okay.
Too much craziness up there.
Oslo is only 600,000 people. It's not that crazy.
Do you see this? That could be my backyard in Ohio. That's where I come from.
Dude, where are you from? Who
Ohio.
are you, Mark Twain?
Ohio, practically.
Good Lord.
This is a concrete jungle to me.
This?
Okay, this neighborhood, you see how quiet it is. That's why I can tolerate living here. And we got our space around us and all that stuff. But city life?
You got to be kidding me.
You should see our place up north. Our nearest neighbors are reindeer.
You excuse me. There's nothing to be proud of. But anyway.
Absolutely, man. You don't know what you're missing.
No, I lived on Nest Southern for 3 years.
Where?
Nest Southern.
Oh, yeah. That's nothing. That's urban.
Shit. Okay.
No, that's beautiful up there. That's beautiful.
What about Norway is not beautiful?
Oslo.
What What's wrong with you?
I take that back. Oslo is a very comfortable town. I love going there to do things. I love going into town here to do things.
I did mention I was MDG, didn't I?
You did, but I love coming back to my refuge here. But my refuge, where my heart is at our place up north, up in Finnmark. It's beautiful. It's right on the ocean. We don't have all those Arctic mosquitoes that everybody talks about. Fishing, Arctic hares, the reindeer, the sea eagles. That's where my heart is.
Excuse
here in Norway.
me. I grew up in the middle of the heart of the city. Look.
And you made it out, too. So congratulations.
I still kind of miss it. So,
do you really?
Yeah.
What brought you here to Norway? Love?
Of course.
Yeah.
Now, thanks to God, there is a God.
Amen.
that ended really quickly. So.
Oh, did it really?
Yes, it did.
Really? Okay. What
was
it? Was it the shock of coming here? Brought some things.
I had nothing to do with no.
I don't want to get into your personal stuff, but it's just interesting. I like to hear the stories of Americans who have come to Norway. Maybe we can wind it up with that.
Okay.
Let me ask you, how did you guys meet?
Here.
Oh, yeah. Why were you here?
From
Chicago, from south side of Chicago to Norway.
But I lived in L.A. or Orange County.
Okay.
I took a job. We lost a contract. British Aerospace. We lost a contract for some work that needed to be done on aircraft entertainment systems.
Okay.
So I took a job with the Air Services Company.
Yeah.
All right. That Air Services Company had the contract. We put in. Remember back in the day, you put your card in the screen.
Yeah.
Okay. I put those in.
Okay.
I made those.
Yeah.
Actually, and I took the job. I was on my way to Singapore, and then the contract here came. I ended up coming to Norway almost under protest. I didn't want to come here. I didn't want to be here because it's cold here. All right? I wanted to go someplace warm.
Right.
But they needed a crew.
Okay.
So I ended up coming here. I came here for 6 months, couldn't stand the place. Hated it. You know this is Norway, right?
It's Norway.
Beautiful women.
You gotta say it.
Beautiful women. And sisters. African sisters. So I ended up overstaying my visa. My visa. But one day, me and my...
So you were an illegal immigrant.
I got deported.
You Republican, you.
Damn right. They threw me out.
They threw you out.
Yes, they did. I was back in less than... I was back inside of a year. No, a little bit over a year.
You took advantage of an open border.
No.
I'm just teasing you now.
No, my girl lived in... she lived in Nesson.
Okay, yeah.
And that was, and even though I lived in a
These women are so fine in Norway, they make us overstay our visas.
My wife was drop dead gorgeous.
I bet she was.
She was.
Beautiful women
She
here.
was beautiful. She was crazy as a fruitcake, but that was another story. So, but I go on a couple of other jobs, but I keep coming back here because at the time, before I got trapped here, at the time I had this beautiful Zambian girlfriend.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah.
I love being here.
Sure.
And women are so liberated.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It wasn't.
They are different here. Women in Norway are different.
And it was so liberating where you didn't have to pay. They paid for you. The level or the way of being appreciated was so different.
Yeah.
That I just kind of got intoxicated by that.
Right.
And of course, when I don't want to be stupid about this, but man, my wife is fucking beautiful. It's the most beautiful white girl I've ever seen in my life.
Uh-huh.
And I hate to say it like that, but she was beautiful. It was a dream.
Yeah.
I could not believe that I'd actually such a beautiful woman. I should have known better, but that's another story.
And it just kind of fell apart after you actually moved here then.
No. It didn't fall apart until it turned out she's got the dark.
Got the dark.
The dark thing.
Jungle fever.
No.
What do you mean?
The dark. The dark and the cold. Dark depression.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
She has that really bad.
You talk about sometimes changing the way you speak Norwegian. Sometimes you got to change the way you speak English. I had no idea. You kept saying the dark. I'm like, the dark.
My sister told me that. My sister told me that, too. And listen, it comes from hanging out with Africans.
I guess, man, because I didn't know what the heck you were talking about. The dark, she's got the dark. Okay, but so that wintertime depression thing is real. I've never felt it. I do fine, especially when we
Look,
live
Mark
up north.
Twain,
Especially,
Huckleberry.
but especially when we live up north.
Look, Huckleberry Finn.
With the northern lights. And we were in an alpine area, so when it would be white with snow and the full moon would hit that, it's almost like a new kind of daytime, even though it's dark all the time up there. So I do just fine.
That's funny you should say that.
Yeah.
Because that was her thing.
Really?
She was all about the sun when it hit the snow, how it was all light and whatnot.
Oh, I think it's beautiful.
Oh, yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Until it goes away.
And then it's just dark. No, so her depression kind of got into the,
Yeah, let's put it like that.
You single now?
Yes and no.
Okay. Nothing wrong with that. That's a good answer.
You know how black folks are. We have this and we have that.
I am quite the fortunate man. Now I'm going to make you feel bad. No, but I know what you mean about Norwegian women. I have one. We've been together for 23 years now, and I couldn't ask for anything better. They are just different. They're just different. People say, how? I don't know. Go get one. Then you'll know. They're just different.
That's a cruel thing to say.
Just go get one?
Go get one.
Yeah.
You don't want
it's
that.
not that easy.
That's not the point. You just don't want one. You get one, you know better. You have one, you'll know better.
No, I'm kind of messing around, but they are different. But that's a societal thing. It's not necessarily the women, but it's the Norwegian society and the opportunities. What do you think it is?
It's an individual thing. Because
that's a lot of individuals then, because they are different here.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, yes, it could be. You could say that one thing about Norwegians is they all think alike. It's true to a degree. Then where they diverge, makes them interesting.
Yeah. But I also think it's regional, because northern Norwegians are so different from the people down here. I can tell you that.
Let me ask you this about your wife.
There.
Does she speak English?
Oh, yeah. We only speak English here at home.
What does it sound like?
Crazy. She speaks English like no other Norwegian I've ever heard. It's very different. She's been on my show. Check her out.
My wife spoke Norwegian. You would swore she was American.
Really?
It was the freakiest thing.
Really?
It was really weird.
Yeah.
She spoke it like an American.
Okay.
That was just weird.
Yeah, no, my wife is Samisk, but she grew up for the most part down south here. So just the fact that she's Samisk makes her very different in her personality and the way she views things, because she's something outside of the mainstream Norwegian society. So she's different. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
we got to wind this up, though. Time.
Prio, that's who I'm talking about.
Yep.
Prio, I'm going to Prio seminar.
Yep.
I'm going to Newpie seminar whenever they have something interesting.
Yeah.
And actually, tomorrow I'm supposed to go to the Defense Council. Yeah. It's about the war. Not the war in the Middle East, but the war in Ukraine.
Yeah.
Okay. So I get their mailers too.
Okay.
So, and of course, I'm all over the press. I do that for our organization. I know whenever I need whenever they need me to talk, especially in Norwegian, I already know what they want to talk about normally, because I keep abreast of that. I've been doing that since I was a spokesman, and that was a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, yeah, we talk again.
You are, as I said, you're always welcome here. I've enjoyed this. I learned a couple new things about you. We disagreed on a few things. We agreed on a few things. We laughed a little. Success. Mission accomplished. Look at him. He just... Vincent, I love you, man. I do. Thank you so much for coming. Anything you want to... Do Republicans Abroad Norway, you guys don't have a website, do you? Or do you?
Yes, we have a website.
Tell them.
We have social media.
Tell them.
Republicans Abroad Norway. Not that difficult.
There you go.
RAN.
Vincent is assuming that everybody knows about Republicans Abroad Norway. I should do a poll. You know what? I'm going to make a poll, and I'm going to ask people. We talked about polls. How many of you heard about Republicans Abroad Norway?
I can help you out with that real quick. Nobody.
Okay. And that's why I'm giving you the opportunity to tell people where to find you.
You should have left that to Austin. Austin's the webmaster, right?
Oh, boy. Vincent Baugh, everybody.